About myself, I'm a retired Marine. I did 22 years in the Marine Corps. Spent a lot of time over in the Middle East in the awesome desert resorts over there. But I did 22 years, and my last tour overseas was to Afghanistan for a year. Major Mac and I were deployed together. We sat next to each other for 365 days, 12 hours a day. So we know each other very, very well. He's a retired Marine as well. He's a retired Major. When he wasn't deploying, he was doing a radio show called Mac Talk up in North Dakota. So it was about a year and a half ago, actually, he called me and said, "Hey, Paul, I got an idea for a radio station, All Marine Radio. What do you think?" I said, "It's a great idea. Let's do it." So we built a business plan, and we tried to follow the business plan, as Bob alluded to. We had the big plan to make $1 million the first year. We launched 4 months ago, and today we brought in $11,500. And the biggest thing I can tell you is never give up. If you have an idea, run with it. This Dog Tag Bakery thing and what they've got going on is awesome. And you may not have any, the idea to open a bakery, but it'll give you the foundation of a business and how to run a business from the ground up, and that's what you need. Mac and I had an idea. We threw it up on the wall. We see if it's going to stick, and it's sticking. We don't know a lot about business, although I have owned several businesses throughout the years. I won't talk about those, but if you have an idea, run with it, because it's going to work. The radio show, I don't know really how we've got it working. Mac is a radio show guy. I'm a marketing guy. I do the business end of it. I look for the advertisers and supporters for us, and Mac does all the radio stuff. We're live Monday through Friday, 10 to 2, and he posts podcasts on the internet. There's over 50 million veterans, either a veteran or a veteran spouse or someone that has a veteran in their family that listens to our show. That's what our goal is, to get all 50 million listen to the show. Right now, I think we have about 100,000 listeners on the internet today. And it ranges from my kids are actually on there, my kids talk on the radio show, to Mac's kids who are actually forward deployed in Afghanistan right now, to my mother listens to it, Bob listens to it, he's addicted to it. Everybody listens to the show, and if you log into it, you'll hear what's going on the show, and it's genuine, it's real. My mom actually called me the other day and says, he cusses a lot. You think people may be offended? I said, well, Mom, if they're offended, they shouldn't be listening to the show, because it's real. We talk about real stuff on there, because PTSD, suicides is a real problem, and we talk about that on there, and we try to bring people in and bring them back to reality so that they don't do stupid stuff. I've said that the Commandant was our first guest speaker, and the reason being is because Mac went to school with the Commandant, so they're kind of buddies. Then we also had General Allen on there. General Clark comes on every Thursday to talk about transitioning.
Tony Zinni.
Yep, we have
Great.
Tony Zinni on there. Gunner Musselman's on there Tuesdays talking about weapons and guns and tactics and stuff like that. So every week there's a different theme. We bring on different units and different commanding officers and different stuff like that to talk about transitioning and life after the military. We have some service members come on, but they don't really tend to tell the truth. They tell you what they gotta say. The retirees are the ones that we like talking to, because they tell you the truth. They tell it like it is. We are right now a for-profit. However, we have formed the Inchon Dwyer Group, and underneath the Inchon Dwyer Group, you're going to have all 4 radio stations, and you're also going to have a nonprofit called Cover Down, which is going to be ran by a retired lieutenant colonel who is a pilot. He's going to run that nonprofit as a foundation for wounded warriors and stuff like that.
And then how do you monetize the radio?
Through advertising.
Selling ads?
Yeah, through advertising. Right now we have 3 advertisers. We have the Marine Corps Heritage Foundation, we have Global Soft Foundation, and Military by Owner Foundation or company is advertising with us. We're looking for, we basically target different markets. And so right now our biggest target is the real estate market, because on the average, for the average VA loan, a company will make $3,000. So if I have 100,000 people listen to my radio show, let's say a month, actually it's daily, but a month, and of those 100,000, 3 people buy a house. They've made $9,000. Why would they not want to give me $3,000 for advertising to get them that extra 6? Make sense? So that's what we're doing, is we're targeting different markets. The market you think is going to make you millions isn't going to work. When we made our business plan, we had a whole list of targets and markets and companies that we were going to go to that we knew was a slam dunk. They're going to give us money. Every one of them was a dud. Every one of them. And on that, thing that comes to mind is follow-up. When you're looking for funding, you're looking for advertising, you're looking for marketing, follow up and follow through. Because if you don't, you might as well You know, you're wasting your time. You got to follow up and follow through. The 3 people that we've received money from, we hounded them. Not that we were begging them for money, but you were follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. They ain't gonna follow up with you because they don't want to give you their money. But if you follow up with them, they will give you their money if they think it's a great idea. Calling them, meeting with them, visiting them, emailing them, anything. Any way you can contact them, contact them. Now don't hound them and call them 6 times a day, but follow up with them. If they say, hey, let's talk next week, talk next week. Honestly, we launched, it was 5 months ago now we launched. I personally have been funding this out of my pocket until we got our first check 2 weeks ago. You know, that's a lot. It was costing me $3,500 a month out of my pocket to fund this radio show because Mac's a retired reserve Marine. He doesn't have an income. And so I've been funding and paying for all his bills and paying for everything. We got our first check, I kind of got a breath of air. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to work. It's going to happen. It's just going to take time. I have no doubt in my mind. There's not one doubt in my mind that it's not going to run. And we're going to start all Army radio next in the fall, and then all Air Force, and then all Navy. It's going to work. You just got to believe. The thing that we have found a setback is nobody budgeted for advertising on radio. You know, everybody budgets for advertising in books or in the newspaper or here or there, but nobody budgeted for radio. So a lot of the companies we've talked to have budgeted for next year. So hopefully that'll come fruition and we'll get a lot more funding that way. But that's pretty much it.
Do you have a website?
We do, allmarineradio.com.
Do you advertise on your website?
We do. The overarching company is the Inchon Dwyer Group, which the website is there, but there's not a lot of stuff on it because we're evolving. Inchon Dwyer Group came from when we were forward deployed into Afghanistan. Our command was the 1st Marine Regiment, and the call sign was Inchon, and we were at Camp Dwyer. So that's where the Inchon Dwyer Group came from. I would probably seek counsel with someone that has done it before. Essentially, in the radio business, it's a tough business. Mac he's an award-winning radio talk show host, but he didn't know the business end of it. So we're learning as we go. We had huge aspirations. We're going to charge people $36,000 a month for this fabulous radio show. We're going to make $1 million the first year. We had to reel ourselves back in to $3,000 a month, and then we reeled ourselves even back further, $3,000 a quarter. And so that's where we're at. So we had huge aspirations, which stay there. You want huge aspirations. Have great big goals. Because if you don't have big goals, you have nothing. If you ask for $1 million, you get 100,000. Oh well, you get 100,000, right? So that's what we do. It's just we had to tone down our expectations a little bit. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm curious why you didn't go the crowdfunding.
The what funding?
Why you didn't try crowdfunding like Indiegogo or Kickstarter?
Lack of education. Honestly, I'm just a retired Marine. Yeah. What do I know about business, really? Yeah.
There's still time.
There is, but I'll talk to you later. Like General Clark is a retired 2-star Marine Corps general, retired from MARSOC down at Camp Lejeune. And when I was talking to him, I have breakfast with him about once a month, and I was talking to him about transition. Actually, I talked to him about the radio show, and he's like, no, that's nothing I want to get involved with. I don't want anything to do with it. And he was kind of standoffish about it. And then I was like, yeah, we had this lady come on last week who was a professional resume writer, and she talks about transition. He goes, whoa, did you know that I'm the expert on transition? I'm like, really? He said, yeah. He goes, I know more about transition than anybody. I was like, well, then why don't we talk? And now every Thursday, General Clark has his own hour segment on the show about transition. I think it's just word of mouth. I mean, Mac knows a ton of people. I know a couple of people. General Dunford, the current chairman of the Joint Chiefs, is a personal friend of mine. And so we've talked with him, we talked with the Commandant, we talked with these people. I was at a change of command a couple weeks ago down at Camp Lejeune, and the general was talking to some people about All Marine Radio, and I was standing right next to him, and I was like, sir, that's my show. And he goes, what are you talking about? So, it's spread like wildfire. I mean, it's amazing how it's word of mouth. It's all word of mouth. The only advertising we've done is on Facebook. You can pay like $300 to guarantee 400,000 hits, is what it is. And it's basically spams on people's Facebook pages. We found that out real quick.